What up, Hyperchange? Welcome to another episode here in the brand new Hyperchange set. Gonna be getting this ready over the next couple weeks. It's gonna be awesome. But anyway, for this episode, wanted to talk about Snapchat's Q2 2018 financials. They were announced last week, but with all of the Tesla privatization drama, didn't have a chance to make a video about it. So in this episode, I'm gonna go through Snapchat's Q2 2018 financial report and then talk a little bit more about what I think about the future of the company and more broadly, the social media landscape in general. So let's start with daily active users. This is the most important number that Snapchat reports. How many people are logging into the app every day on average during the quarter. In Q2 2018, it was 188 million. This is actually down from 191 million in Q1, the first sequential decline we've seen in the data from Snapchat. The platform as a whole is shrinking for the first time in its history. I mean, this is a big inflection point. And for a company that's valued as a growth stock, to see your user base shrinking is not a good sign. And they did blame this on the app redesign that was done a quarter or two ago and saying, confusion with that caused less engagement in the app, and that's why their DAUs decreased. I really think at the end of the day that Instagram had a ton to do with that, but a little more on that later. Anyway, if we chart Snapchat's year-over-year growth in daily active users over time, you can see just a dramatic deceleration to just 8% growth in Q2 2018. If we overlay when Instagram stories launched, you can see that was almost perfectly timed with the dramatic deceleration of Snapchat user base. Now, if we take a look at revenue growth, this is lagging a little bit behind user growth, but still slowing dramatically. As you can see, in Q2 2017, Snap was growing at 153%, Q2 2018, just 44%. Clear that growth is slowing. For Q3 2018, they've guided for just between 27 to 39% revenue growth. So the revenue growth here is slowing dramatically. It's probably going to get even slower growth in Q4 2018. So if we take a look at the Q2 financials, revenue was 262 million, up about 44% in the quarter. So once again, that looks strong, but this is a company that was growing over 150 something percent just a year ago. And although their operating loss did improve in the quarter from negative 449 million to negative 358, the operating margin is still negative 137%. And this is really the problem with Snapchat is they're just not profitable at all, and they're not even close to profitability. And this comes at a time when their user base is stalling. So, Snapchat is in this catch-22 where they either need to start regrowing their user base and grow it substantially to be profitable, or significantly need to ramp up the monetization per user, which either means showing them a ton more ads or getting that user much more engaged somehow. So it's just an uphill battle from here. If you take a look at what I'm expecting for the full year, this is my old estimates put out after Q1, a little over $1 billion in revenue, a loss of 1.5 billion. I'm keeping my revenue estimate the same, but I am tightening in that loss for my new estimate. Only have them losing 1.3 billion, so a slight improvement from 2017, but still worse than negative 100% operating margins. If we take a look at the revenue just alone, the growth is strong. They are going to do over $1 billion in revenue, it looks like, in 2018. But if you look at how dramatically the growth rates are slowing on a year-over-year basis, I mean, Snapchat is just growing at 30% here. That's slower than Amazon. It's slower than Facebook. It's right in line with about Google. It's much slower than Tesla. So Snapchat is just really fallen off of a cliff in terms of growth here. And if we take a look at what their cash balance has done since their IPO, you can see that in just 5 quarters, they burned 1.6 billion, about half of the cash they had at the time right after they IPO'd. And so they're only burning around 200 or 300 million a quarter now. So they're not desperately for cash next quarter, but in 4 to 5 quarters at their current run rate, Snapchat's going to be out of money, still burning a ton, and probably going to need to do a capital raise. So I would be on the lookout for that. Additionally, if we take a look at the gross margin, this is where Snapchat is just really, really struggling to become a social network, to become, an advertising platform, a software company. They should have margins that are a lot higher than 27%, but that's what they were in Q2 2018. And although it was an improvement from the 16% they posted in Q2 2017, this is just nowhere near the level of other social network companies. If we compare Snapchat's gross margins to Facebook, Twitter, and Alphabet, you can see they are nowhere near on the level of profitability per dollar in revenue. And additionally, Snapchat's expenses as a portion of revenue are vastly bloated relative to these other companies as well. So, it's just a catch-22 here, because Snapchat, at the end of the day, at $12.50 a share, the stock barely moved down after this report, is still valued around 18 or 19 billion. For a company that's going to do about $1 billion in revenue this year, we're looking at an 18 times price sales ratio for a company that's dramatically slowing growth, only going to grow 30% this year, probably going to decline in revenue growth even below 30% the next year, is not even close to making money. And the reason why they're valued at that 18 billion or 18 times price sales is because they have this label as a social media company, which at maturity can be incredibly profitable. But the problem is, these gross margins are not showing that Snapchat has any of the same, profitability levers in their business model as Facebook or Twitter or Alphabet. And so I'm very bearish on Snapchat. I thought this report was awful. I don't understand why the stock didn't get hit much harder than this. If you listen to what they said on the conference call, it sounds like DAUs are going to decline sequentially again next quarter. I mean, revenue growth is continuing to slow. I just don't see Snapchat being able to turn it around without some sort of major innovation in the product. I mean, I'm 25 myself, so I'm not exactly in the sweet spot of Snapchat. I think it's a little bit younger with their user base, but just personally, I deleted my Snapchat app a couple months ago. I never use it. None of my friends use Snapchat anymore. We're only on Instagram and Twitter. I'm not on Facebook either. But so, I don't know. I'd love to know from you all, are you still on Snapchat? Do you know people who are still using Snapchat? What is the trend of people posting on Snapchat? Is it more or is it less? Because this data is really, really weak. I'm trying to figure out a way to get bullish or excited about Snapchat. I have talked about the Spectacles product and how I think what they're doing, potentially getting a step ahead in augmented reality with their lenses platform, is a really smart move for Snapchat, and it's a really cool feature, and augmented reality is probably where the future is headed. But if they can't keep the people on their platform, none of these big long-term innovations are gonna matter. So Instagram is really killing Snapchat. I'm more bearish on Snap than I have ever been after seeing this quarterly report, because I think they're getting, they're boxing themselves into a hole. The financials are not getting better. The growth is slowing. They're gonna need to raise money again soon, and they're still valued as if they're killing it when they're clearly not. That's my view on Snapchat. In terms of other social media stuff, Instagram launched Instagram TV not too long ago. I was super excited about that at first, but that's actually been a little bit disappointing. I haven't been using Instagram TV at all. Would be curious to know if you all have. But I still just think Instagram is killing it as the social network of the moment. Twitter is sort of undergoing a resurgence as well in terms of finance, Tesla, crypto, journalism, tech news. That's really finding a sweet spot on Twitter. So I'm bullish on Twitter, bullish on Instagram, but Snapchat just appears to be losing relevance by the day. Anyway, this is Hyperchange. If you like the show, definitely check out our Patreon page. Consider supporting there. $5 a month will get you access to our awesome newsletter. So definitely check out the Patreon page. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.